Someone is struggling today, and I'm thinking from my perspective as a working mom, find those groups, those play dates. For me, it's play dates, right? Finding other working moms where we can get together, get our kids playing, and then we can chat and really take a breath, have a meaningful conversation. It's interrupted by children constantly, but we all know. But I would find other parents, to find that empathy, that understanding so that you're not alone.
Mental Health Champions, a very exciting show today. I'm bringing on a friend I met through my recovery with Tampa General. We have Kristen here today. We're going to talk about her journey at TGH, her life as a mom, right? We just passed the holidays and some sick season, so some mental health tips for all you parents out there. And of course, her new role on the operations side of things over at TGH. So a lot of cool stuff. Kristen, welcome to A Mental Health Break.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Vince. I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you on, and everyone as I teach, she's a big player in the Tampa General ecosystem. If you've done your trips to Tallahassee, if you've walked around campus, you probably bumped into her once or twice. But everyone tuning in, welcome back to another episode here on A Mental Health Break. My name is Vincent A. Ladsey, and I'm very excited to keep this show going. Please remember to subscribe to stay current so you don't miss great advocates like today, and stay on the lookout. Any day now, you should see that TBI recovery book. I've been blasting it on my social media, so be sure to join the pre-order list for only 99 cents. And we are brought to you today by Coming Alive podcastproduction.com. And today we have a TGH all-star here. But as far as you, Kristen, please introduce yourself to our audience and from wherever you feel comfortable sharing your mental health journey.
Absolutely. Thanks, Vince. And I am Kristen Keller. I have been at Tampa General Hospital for about 7 years now. Very excited to know Vince through the TGH journey, both his and mine. I'm very excited for your book, by the way. That'll be awesome to see and read. I want to see about that. I came from patient experience. So really, it's very important to me to hear patient stories like Vince, and that is something that really drives my passion. But as Vince mentioned, I did move into an operations role in early 2025. We're in 2026 now. Wow. So a big change for me. But in terms of my background, I grew up thinking I wanted to be a lawyer. I was very set on that. I was pre-law, political science, working at a law office in college, studying for my LSATs. And I just had a change of heart, just not sure that was the journey that I wanted to do. So I kind of took a big turn and joined the Peace Corps. I was stationed in rural Costa Rica as a community development volunteer, and it really changed my life. I ended up staying for 3 years, just really loving the experience. I taught English, I did health education, I did a little of everything. It was a very general type assignment for someone with a political science degree.
Right.
And so what came from that, though, was health, and public health specifically became something very important to me, from sexual education in our youth to obstetrics, gynecological healthcare, and especially in thinking about vaccinations and preventative care, which is really what public health is about. And living in a very small rural village in Latin America really helped me see how important health education and awareness and just understanding the way our bodies work, population health works, that really became my passion while I was in the Peace Corps. So it helped me define the direction I wanted to go. I returned and did a Peace Corps fellowship for University of Arizona, where I received my master's in public health policy and management. Really loved that, and started applying for jobs all across the country, anywhere kind of south of, I would say, New Mexico. I didn't want to go where it was cold. I had just gotten back from the tropics, and that's what landed me in Florida. So nothing like going to the southernmost kind of state to get that tropical feel. And I did just that. And so I ended up in Tampa, eventually landing at Tampa General Hospital, doing more patient experience and healthcare administration. But my public health background definitely continues to inspire and drive me. So I did patient experience and patient and family engagement for several years, helping to oversee the patient and family advisory councils, which of course Vince is a part of. And that's what led us to Tallahassee for several times to advocate for our patients. and really enjoyed overseeing language services and ADA specifications and sticking with the ADA law, trying to get more accessibility for our patients and visitors with disabilities. That was a really great learning experience and overseeing that program as well. So, as I said, I did shift gears recently and joined a different division of our hospital. I joined the operations, specifically support services, as a business operations manager. And this is great to help flex my skills more in the areas of business management, finance, really understanding our contract negotiations, as well as how we manage day to day. So it has been an extremely great experience, and understanding that everything that we do has an operational and project management aspect. That's really what I've been working on. And that's kind of where I am currently, just loving getting to know and helping, aiding, and improving environmental services, the cleaning of our facilities, the environment of care and healing with our transporters. We transport patients, a lot of logistics there. Dietary has been a huge area where I've been involved in improving our patient services for meals and nutrition. So a lot of that falls under this area that I now support, and I am truly loving it.
Well, congratulations on all you're continuing to do. But a great piece of advice I can ask you is for our audience here. Say someone's go like you, very successful, hands in a lot of places. How are you finding ways to take care of your mental health? Maybe what are some things you do to take care of it?
Absolutely. Well, as you mentioned earlier, I am a mother of two. One of them is about to turn 5, and the other one is 2 years old. 2 years old, going on 15, it seems like sometimes. But there's not a whole lot of time for mental health, right? And I believe at one of my women's groups, someone kind of coined the phrase that it's not work-life balance, it's work-life harmony, because really you can never find balance. But can you find some sort of harmony that shifts? I think you can. I work very hard. I work long hours because I want to, because I love my job, and I am working to enhance my career, always growing opportunities. I want to be in leadership and healthcare management, and especially at TGH, a wonderful place to work and grow. So it is always a challenge. It is always a challenge to find when to say no to things, when to say yes, and to ensure I'm not missing anything on the kids' side of the family, because I want to be a super mom as well. And as you mentioned before, we've had sickness, especially these last holidays. There was the flu going around. We definitely were victims of that. So advice for that is, I mean, this is what a lot of people say, but it's so true. Give yourself grace, right? I have to give myself grace for not getting to the gym as much as I'd like to, maybe not getting to the gym ever at this point. One of my colleagues in EVS mentioned to me, well, you're running around all the time. That counts. You're burning calories. I was like, you're right. I'm out on the floor. I'm walking around, shadowing. I go to the kitchen a lot. So I try to think about that. Try not to think of like, oh my gosh, I didn't make it to the gym again this week. And instead look at it as, yeah, but what did you achieve? What did you achieve that it was good for your body and your heart and your mind? If sitting and reading a book with my kids is what I'm going to do instead of going to the gym, it is worth it to me. And a lot of the time they keep me active. Like I am running around at the playground with them, and that should count as a gym moment for me. I also do need some quiet time though, because just like, with having all that love and kids in the house, they are a lot. I have 2 boys, so they are bouncing off walls literally. I'm pretty sure that phrase was coined because of males. I don't know. I'm sure there's girls that do it too, but I just always see little girls sitting down, coloring, staying in one spot. My kids, I don't know where they are. I mean, in the yard, in the street, I don't know. But I'm trying constantly to keep them in my, vision,
Oh my
but
goodness.
it's a lot. So I do try to do yoga and meditation at least once a week, even if it's just 10, 15 minutes and a video on my phone. I get that time. My husband and I have a really supportive relationship where we ensure we each have the mental recharging time that we need, especially he works at home full time. So he needs some time out of the house, sometimes. For me, coming to work sometimes is a great break from the kids. I hate to say it, but it's true. And then I miss them by the end of the day. So it's a beautiful life. It's just a very full life. And the advice is grace and find the opportunities to give yourself the credit you deserve.
I love both of those things. I was going to highlight how you said give yourself grace. And you also brought up something great with exercise. It's a big misconception I've learned over this show. where gym is equated to lifting weights. Like, no, you're walking, you're picking that baby up and down. And my old roommate, Paul, when I go there, they have 2 boys under 2 as well. I get that it's a
Uh,
different life when the boys, they're
yeah,
nonstop. So I understand that for sure. But I think you also highlighted on a great support system, right? With your husband, you have this situation where, hey, we recognize we both need a few minutes. This is when we need our break. And I think that's so important not to overload yourself. It's easier said than done, as you've touched on all the great things you've done. But I want to circle back to the beginning where we shouted out the voices of experience, right? The PFAC, right? This is something Kristen and Amber, I had the great chance to work with them on the awesome podcast. So be sure to download their podcast, Voices of Experience PFAC. Kristen's got an awesome episode on there. Amber does a terrific job hosting that. And through your experiences finding these patient stories, right, learning from everyone, you also brought up accessibility of resources, right? What do you find as a commonality maybe across your patient stories where mental health, maybe misconceptions or resources you know about, something to help our audience or
right.
trends?
That's a good question. I'd say across all patient stories, and typically we're hearing, we hear a lot of stories from I would call the regulars, people who unfortunately have to utilize our healthcare services more often than not. But we do also receive stories from people who are rare visitors, which is what we all want to be, right, when it comes to a hospital or healthcare
Yeah.
setting. But across all of those, really the commonality is coordination of care and a lack thereof. And I think that has a huge impact on mental health. I think that what patients struggle to do is understand what each physician or specialist or provider is doing that is working with and in congruence with other providers, especially if someone has multifaceted issues, things that are impacting multiple parts of the body, mind, etc. So the mental health aspect, I think, is constantly needing to be more focused on. And it is why we recently opened our behavioral health hospital, TGH. It's next to the Kennedy in that new health district area. And that was an investment in the fact that a commonality across coordination of care issues and challenges was absolutely mental health and behavioral health. It is really difficult to deal with a lot of health issues. It is a real challenge to have to advocate for yourself when you are not feeling well, whether that be physically or mentally. So we do have a lot of resources at TGH. I can especially speak to for team members. I mean, patients, yes, absolutely. We're going to refer to our behavioral health needs, but in terms of even our team members who we're our own patients too, by the way, pretty much all of us go here. We have a lot of things offered by our leadership to supplement and help our mental health. We are able to retrieve, I think, as many as 12 visits in a year for completely free therapy sessions. They have coaching online ones, they have one in person, they have virtual offerings, and medication management as well. I mean, that is something that through our health system, we've really been able to support each other. And the providers working within this organization are supporting our team members as patients as well. So, coordination of care across healthcare, I would say, especially in our country, is an area of a challenge opportunity that I think, all know about. But the mental health aspect is huge. And I think we're only now starting to really see what an impacting factor that is.
I love that. Well, I know TGH is one of those places where people wish they can work and love to work because of how they do treat their employees. I've seen it firsthand where they give you the time and a lot of cool things we touched on earlier. Going to Tallahassee, if everyone's or anyone, excuse me, is tuning in outside Florida, our capital, TGH brings a lot of amazing patients there to represent and talk about the great work and advocate for great causes. What is one of your favorite Tallahassee moments, or what's something great that we can share with our audience where maybe they're tuning in and they want to get involved, right? We've inspired them
Yeah.
to join you in Tallahassee.
Well, first of all, you can go in the helicopter. Okay. That's the best part, right? You can get in our amazing TGH helicopter that zooms around and saves people from all over the region. But we bring that to Tallahassee. Somehow those amazing people landed in the middle of a courtyard that's tiny. I don't know how it gets there. I've never seen it happen. It just appears. So, first
That's
off, you
true.
got to see that. I think Tallahassee is amazing. Now, I didn't go to the very last one, but I was in all of the first ones, the first five, and in there was COVID in between, so it was some fun to adjust to. But I mean, I have so many great memories of Tallahassee, and I think one of the huge areas we could focus on is the Friday night of the day we all arrive. There's a cocktail hour where we hear from representatives, we hear from legislators of our districts and around who have meaningful stories about TGH. They either were impacted personally or have a friend or family member who is impacted personally. And it's amazing that every time we go up there, it seems like more of our legislators are coming to that cocktail hour, speaking a few words, supporting the mission of advocacy for TGH. And really, we're not going up there and, really pounding on one piece of legislation or anything. We're really going up there to tell our stories. And I think that's the most impactful part is when we have those small group meetings, give the opportunity to our patients and their family members to talk to these lawmakers about how can you support us? Just keep us in mind if things come up that could enhance and improve our health system or the region's health. We just want that to happen. Patients' voices matters. And most of the people, that we're talking to, they have stories like that. So they understand. And it's really fun to come together and see that. And especially, like I said, that cocktail hour when those lawmakers are actually telling their own personal stories of impact. And it really hits home for us.
And I love what you said there. And when you share your story, opposed to them just seeing a bill or a piece of paper, if you share your story in an impactful way, you might just be the needle mover, right, to make that
Yeah,
amazing change. And it's something I take great pride in, having the ability to join the great work at TGH and you, John Corus, all the amazing leaders that, paved the way for us advocates, us patients to fight our way back and maybe create a podcast, right? And then we get to bring on some of
that's
amazing
right.
TGH folks. We've had Amber on. We're going to be interviewing Kiki, coincidentally,
Oh,
soon enough. So I'm
wonderful.
really
That'll be
excited
great.
to a small token of my appreciation to bring some of these great people on the show to share their story and inspire some mental health champions along the way. But before I let you go, Kristen, if you could give one piece of advice to anyone out there who may be struggling today, what can you offer?
Someone is struggling today, and I'm thinking from my perspective as a working mom, find those groups, those play dates. For me, it's play dates, right? Finding other working moms where we can get together, get our kids playing, and then we can chat and really take a breath, have a meaningful conversation. It's interrupted by children constantly, but we all know. But I would find other parents, to find that empathy, that understanding so that you're not alone. Like, we're not alone. I don't know if it's my generation or what, but we ladies putting ourselves to these standards, right? Like, I need to be this career driven, super excelling female in my industry. And I also need to be a super successful mom and do all the things, all the play dates, all the birthday parties, and bring all the teachers' gifts in. I want everything at the highest level. And sometimes it takes just chatting with a fellow mom to say, you got to pick a few things that you can do and then just let the other things go. And that's okay. We're all doing it. And don't look at social media like every single person is achieving this. We all put what we want out there. I probably look like I'm achieving everything, but trust me, at the end of the day, I've sacrificed things. And I think every working mom has to sacrifice things. That's why it's a work-life harmony. It's not a balance. There is no balancing this.
Yeah.
It shifts, it changes, and you give yourself grace and you fall on your partner, whether that be a spouse or a friend or a parent, and then your fellow moms and dads who live it with you. We're all in it together.
Yeah, very well said. And again, give yourself grace, everyone. Kristen, it's so great to catch up with you, everyone. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss great guests like Kristen today. She brought her A game. She shared her story as a mom, as a hard worker, and finding ways to balance, or as we said, finding harmony, right? So I thought that was great. Even as an entrepreneur, I could find myself overloading and working day and night, but these intentional, mindful breaks are it. Where can people say hello to you? I know you're on LinkedIn, but if you wouldn't mind sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. Kristen Lee, Kristenlea, Keller with an AR. That's the kicker. But I am very active on LinkedIn. I love to support and follow small businesses, local businesses, especially healthcare industry. I'm an active member of the Tampa Bay Chamber. And so find me. I would love to connect. If anyone is interested in learning more about my journey, happy to help.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Everyone, be sure to connect with her. And my name is Vincent A. Lancy. You can find us on social media, or you can find me as well on LinkedIn at Vincent A. Lancy. We're brought to you today by ComingAlivePodcastProduction.com. And with that, we are signing off today. Tampa legend, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I would love to hear your feedback. What did you love? What do you want to see more of? Are there any questions you would like me to ask the guests who come on the show? This show is not possible without you, the amazing listeners, so please email us at podcastsbylancy@gmail.com and let us know what you think. We'll also feature you on a later show. Please remember to subscribe to stay current with our amazing community of guests who will continue to come on the show, sprinkled in with solo episodes from me, Vincent A. Lancy. With that, I look forward to introducing more shows to you each and every week. And with that, we're signing off today. Enjoy the episodes and make it a great day ahead.